The morning sun cast long shadows across Proxima Colony's biodomes, humanity's first home among the stars. 8-year-old Jaya's song skipped through the agricultural sector, her small boots leaving prints in the red-tinted soil. Above her, the artificial sky projected a perfect Earth-like blue, making the colonial children feel at home even 4 light years from Earth. "Look, Papa. The tomatoes are getting red," Jaya called out to her father, Song Tawu, who monitored the hydroponic systems nearby. He smiled, watching his daughter's excitement over the colony's first successful tomato crop. "They'll be ready next week, Butterfly," Tawu replied, checking the nutrient levels on his tablet. The colony had taken 3 years to build, and now, with 500 settlers, it was finally starting to feel like home. The first warning came from the orbital sensors. Strange energy signatures appeared at the edge of the solar system, moving faster than any human ship could travel. Colony Control issued a general alert, but few worried. First contact protocols were well established, and humanity had prepared for this moment. Jaya pressed her face against the biodome's transparent walls, hoping to catch a glimpse of the alien ships. "Papa, will we meet real aliens today?" she asked, bouncing on her toes. Taiwu moved closer to his daughter, something in his gut telling him to keep her near. The alien ships appeared suddenly, massive dark shapes blotting out the stars. Their design was organic, almost predatory, with sharp angles and glowing purple energy lines pulsing along their hulls. 20 ships, each larger than Earth's biggest space station, surrounded the colony. Colony Control attempted communication on all frequencies. They sent peaceful greetings in every known human language, accompanied by mathematical sequences to demonstrate intelligence. The response came in the form of plasma fire. The first bolt struck the main communications array, vaporizing it instantly. The second hit the power plant, plunging sections of the colony into darkness. Panic erupted as colonists ran for the emergency shelters. "Jaya, we need to go." Tawu grabbed his daughter's hand, pulling her toward the nearest shelter entrance. The biodome's environmental systems blared warnings as pressure began to drop. "Jaya, we need to go." Tawu grabbed his daughter's hand, pulling her toward the nearest shelter entrance. The biodome's environmental systems blared warnings as pressure began to drop. "But Papa, the tomatoes," Jaya started, looking back at her beloved plants. The third plasma bolt answered her concern, striking the agricultural dome directly. The structure's integrity failed catastrophically. Time seemed to slow for Tawu as the dome shattered. He pulled Jaya close, shielding her with his body as best he could. The vacuum of space rushed in, carrying with it deadly shards of transparent aluminum and frozen vegetation. Emergency force fields activated, but too late for many. Taegu felt Jaya's small hand slip from his grasp as the air rushed past them. His magnetic boots kept him anchored, but Jaya had none. Her small form tumbled away, along with dozens of other colonists caught in the open. "Jaya!" Tagu's scream echoed through his suit's radio, unanswered. The colony's cameras, still functioning despite the attack, recorded everything, including the moment his daughter's body went still in the vacuum of space. The attack lasted 12 minutes. When it ended, 143 colonists were dead, including 32 children. The aliens departed as quickly as they had arrived, leaving destruction and death in their wake. Rescue ships from Earth arrived 26 hours later, answering the colony's distress calls. They found Tawu still in the ruined agricultural dome, cradling his daughter's frozen body. The colony's cameras had transmitted everything back to Earth, including Jaya's last moments. As footage of the attack spread across Earth's networks, humanity's reaction was unified and immediate. Grief turned to rage. Peace-loving scientists became advocates for war. Parents looked at their own children and demanded vengeance. In Seoul, Earth Defense Command convened an emergency session. The brutal killing of civilians, especially children, could not go unpunished. Hidden military projects were activated, secret weapons authorized for deployment. They found one of Jaya's drawings in the ruins, a crayon picture of Earth and Proxima, connected by a rainbow bridge. Across the top, in a child's unsteady handwriting, were the words, "My two homes." The image became Earth's battle flag. Every military ship, every soldier's uniform bore a small copy of Jaya's last artwork. Her death became the symbol of humanity's lost innocence and their determination for revenge. As Earth prepared for war, Ta Wu stood before the World Council. His voice, steady despite his grief, delivered the words that would echo through history. "They killed our children. They killed my Jia. Now they will learn why humans will cross galaxies to protect our young. We will burn their worlds until they understand what they've done." The Galactic Empire had made a fatal mistake. They thought they were attacking the helpless colony. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant. Humanity's response would remake the galaxy, all because they killed a child who only wanted to grow tomatoes among the stars. In orbit around Earth, the first warships of the Liberation Fleet assembled, their hulls painted with Jaya's rainbow bridge. The Empire would soon learn the cost of their cruelty. Humanity was going to war, and they would not rest until justice was served. In the gleaming halls of the Imperial Command Center, Supreme Commander Hainul studied the reports from Proxima with disdain. Holographic displays showed the destroyed human colony, while his advisors waited for his response. "Primitives," Hainul declared, waving a hand through the hologram. "They haven't even mastered basic gravitic drives. Their most advanced ships take years to reach their colony." He turned to his military council, composed of the Empire's highest-ranking officers. The attack served its purpose, General Min reported, highlighting resource surveys of the Proxima system. "The humans will abandon their colonization efforts. The system's resources remain ours to claim." Unknown to the Empire, deep beneath Earth's oceans, and hidden in asteroid bases, humanity's true fleet waited. For decades, Earth had maintained a facade of technological backwardness, while secretly developing weapons that would reshape warfare. Admiral Kim Sun-mei stood on the bridge of the ESS Vengeance, Earth's first quantum-fold battleship. Around her, crews performed final checks on systems the Empire believed impossible for humans to create. "All ships report ready," Admiral, her executive officer announced. The fleet of 50 ships represented Earth's hidden strength. Each vessel carried dark matter weapons, technology the Empire thought was still theoretical. "Send the message to Earth Command," Sun-mei ordered. "Operation Retribution begins now." She thought of Jaya's drawings, one of which hung in her quarters. The Empire would pay for every child's tear. The quantum fold drives engaged. In an instant, physics bent around the fleet. They vanished from Earth's space and appeared directly inside the Empire's 7th Fleet defensive formation. On the Imperial flagship, alarms blared. "Impossible," Hainul's tactical officer shouted. "They simply appeared. No jump signature, no fold space distortion." "Open fire," Hainul commanded, but it was too late. The human ships released their first volley of dark matter torpedoes. The weapons passed through Imperial shields as if they didn't exist. Admiral Sun-mei watched with cold satisfaction as the Imperial ships began to implode. Dark matter weapons didn't destroy ships. They erased them from existence, crushing them into infinitesimal points of darkness. "Target their flagship," she ordered. "Let's send a message they can't ignore." The Vengeance's main gun charged, dark energy crackling along its length. Hainul saw his fleet dying around him. Hundreds of ships, the pride of the Empire, vanished into points of absolute darkness. His sensors couldn't even track the human weapons. They operated on principles his scientists had only theorized about. "Send the surrender signal," he commanded, but Sun-mei had no interest in accepting it. The Vengeance fired its main gun. Hainul had one moment to realize humanity's true power before his flagship collapsed into a singularity. The battle lasted less than 5 minutes. The Empire's 7th Fleet, over 500 ships strong, ceased to exist. Not a single human vessel was lost. In the imperial capital, the news struck like a physical blow. Emergency councils were convened. Military analysts reviewed the battle footage with growing horror. The humans hadn't just defeated an imperial fleet. They had completely obliterated it with technology that should have been impossible. How did we not know? The Imperial Council demanded. Their intelligence services had watched Earth for decades. They had seen primitive chemical rockets, basic ion drives, and early fusion technology. The answer came from a junior analyst who had studied Earth's entertainment media. They showed us what they wanted us to see, she explained. Their fiction, their movies and books, often portray humanity hiding their true strength until provoked. We thought it was fantasy. It was warning. Hey Newell, rescued from his ship's emergency pod, faced the Imperial Council in disgrace. We must sue for peace, he urged. If this is their true technology level, we cannot stand against them. But it was too late. Across human space, shipyards revealed their secret production lines. Quantum fold drives powered up. Dark matter weapons came online. The Empire had killed a human child, thinking they were swatting an insect. Instead, they had awakened a giant. Admiral Sunmai sent a final message to the Empire before leading her fleet deeper into their territory. You killed our children. Now we will show you why humans are the most dangerous species in the galaxy. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us. The Empire's mistake was complete. They had judged humanity by their visible technology, never imagining the power hidden beneath the surface. Now they would pay the price, world by burning world, until justice was served. Colonel Song Ta-Wu stood on the bridge of the EF's Vengeance, his eyes fixed on the holographic display showing their next target. 1 month had passed since Earth revealed its true military power, and now the Empire would learn the full cost of their actions. In her laboratory aboard the ship, Dr. Song Mei worked tirelessly on her bioweapons. She had been a peaceful researcher once, developing cures for diseases. Now she engineered viruses that could rewrite alien biology. The memory of holding Jaya's frozen body drove both parents forward. Target in range, announced the weapons officer. The Imperial world Nexus Prime filled their view screens, its orbital defenses already firing uselessly at the human fleet. Their shots passed through quantum-shifted ships like ghosts. Deploy the Prometheus Protocol, Ta-Wu ordered. Unlike the Empire's attack on Proxima, Earth gave civilians time to evacuate. Orbital speakers broadcast warnings in Imperial Common. You have 6 hours to leave. This world will burn. Fleet Commander Li Jinwu coordinated the attack from his command ship. Under his direction, human forces had already claimed 14 Imperial worlds. Each victory followed the same pattern. Warning, evacuation, destruction. Civilian ships are clearing the area, Jinwu reported. Beginning final countdown. The Empire had learned to take human warnings seriously. Their shelters couldn't protect against Earth's weapons. Mei watched as robotic drones released her latest creation into Nexus Prime's atmosphere. The bioweapon was elegant in its simplicity. It turned the Empire's terraform-grade plants against them. Within hours, the world would become uninhabitable. Remember Jaya? Ta-Wu whispered as the first reports of the bioweapon's effects came in. Across Nexus Prime, the Empire's carefully engineered ecosystem began to unravel. Plants mutated, releasing toxic spores. The atmosphere itself turned poisonous. The Empire's response fleet arrived too late. Quantum fold drives let human ships appear and disappear at will. The Empire's technological advantage in conventional weapons meant nothing when they couldn't hit their targets. Next target confirmed, Jinwu announced. The industrial world of Forge. The human fleet vanished, reappearing instantly around their next victim. Another world, another warning, another victory for Earth. Mei's bioweapons grew more sophisticated with each attack. Some targeted infrastructure, breaking down metal and plastics. Others rewrote the genetic code of entire ecosystems. The Empire learned to fear the sight of her drones. 15 worlds in 30 days. Ta Wu noted, studying the campaign map. Red marks showed claimed territories, spreading like a virus through Imperial space. Not fast enough. Not for Jia. The Empire attempted to negotiate. They offered reparations, territory, technology. Earth's response came in the form of more burning worlds. The time for diplomacy had died with a child who only wanted to grow tomatoes. In their private quarters, Ta Wu and Mei Rei looked at holographic images of their daughter. "She would hate what we've become," Mei Rei whispered, tears in her eyes. "She's not here to hate anything," Ta Wu replied. "Because of them." The next morning, they returned to their posts. The Empire had chosen this war. Earth would ensure they regretted it. Jin Wu's strategic genius combined with Earth's advanced technology proved unstoppable. Imperial forces found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. Their mighty fleets fell to weapons they couldn't understand or defend against. The 16th world fell. Then the 17th. Earth's vengeance rolled across the galaxy like a tide of darkness. The Empire began to collapse, its citizens fleeing deeper into their territory. Aboard the Vengeance, Ta Wu kept a small garden. In it grew a single tomato plant, cloned from those that died with Jia. When it bore fruit, he would know their mission was complete. Until then, more worlds would burn. Operation Retribution continued, unstoppable and relentless. The Empire had killed one human child, thinking humanity weak. Now they watched helplessly as Earth's forces dismantled their civilization world by world. The stars themselves seemed to dim as humanity's dark matter weapons tore reality apart. The Empire's mistake would cost them everything. And somewhere, perhaps, a little girl's spirit watched as her parents reshaped the galaxy in her memory. Captain Park Do-hyun's stealth fleet emerged from quantum space, deep within Imperial territory. His ships, coated with dark matter absorption technology, appeared as mere shadows against the stars. Below them spread Helios Prime, one of the Empire's most populated core worlds. "Commence Operation Shadowfall," Do-hyun ordered. From his flagship's holds, specially designed capsules dropped toward the planet's surface. Each contained Dr. Mei Rei's latest bioweapon, a virus that turned the Empire's own terraforming technology against them. On the surface, billions of Imperial citizens went about their lives, unaware of the invisible death descending from above. The first signs appeared in the agricultural sectors, plants mutating at impossible speeds, releasing clouds of toxic spores into the carefully maintained atmosphere. Supreme Commander He Newell received the reports with growing horror. Another core world lost. He announced to his diminishing council, "Helios Prime's biosphere is collapsing." Around him, displays showed the death toll rising. Evacuation ships launched by the thousands, but they couldn't save everyone. Dr. Mei Rei watched the data streams from her laboratory aboard the EF's Vengeance. Her bioweapons had evolved beyond simple destruction. Now they rewrote the fundamental chemistry of entire planets, making them forever uninhabitable to Imperial life. "Atmospheric conversion complete," her assistant reported. "Helios Prime will be uninhabitable within 24 hours. Mei Rei nodded, remembering how she once used similar techniques to make worlds more livable. Now she used them to deny worlds to those who had taken her daughter. Newell retreated to Centrum, the Imperial throne world, as reports of more attacks flooded in. Do-hyun's stealth fleet struck like ghosts, appearing, releasing their deadly cargo, and vanishing before defenses could respond. "The inner defense line has failed," his advisors reported. "Human ships are penetrating at will." The mighty Imperial fleet, once the galaxy's strongest force, now patrolled uselessly around empty worlds turned toxic by human vengeance. Earth's strategy was methodical. They didn't waste resources destroying Imperial ships or fighting battles. Instead, they simply made worlds uninhabitable, forcing the Empire to retreat again and again. "Billions dead," He Newell whispered, watching another evacuation fleet arrive at Centrum. All because we killed one human child. He had learned too late that humanity's apparent weakness had been a mask, hiding a civilization capable of unimaginable retribution. Do-hyun's fleet struck closer to Centrum with each attack. The Empire's mighty capital ships proved useless against enemies they couldn't detect. Dark matter weapons pierced their strongest shields. Bioweapons transformed their most secure worlds into poisonous wastelands. In her lab, Mirai completed her masterwork, a bioweapon designed specifically for Centrum. For Jaya, she whispered, holding the sample up to the light. The clear liquid would rewrite the very building blocks of life on the Imperial throne world. Target coordinates received. Do-hyun reported to Earth Command. Centrum's outer defenses are in range. His fleet prepared for their final mission, to deliver Mirai's revenge to the heart of the Empire. Hanul ordered the evacuation of Centrum to begin, but it was too late. Do-hyun's ships appeared in the upper atmosphere, their cargo already deployed. The Empire's greatest achievement, their throne world of 1 trillion souls, was about to become their tomb. As Centrum's biosphere began to die, Hanul finally understood humanity's message. They hadn't just wanted revenge, they wanted to teach the galaxy a lesson. Never again would anyone dismiss humans as weak. Never again would anyone harm their children. The death toll reached its final billions as Centrum's atmosphere turned toxic. The empire that had ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years died not with a bang, but with the quiet hiss of mutating microbes and the screams of the dying. The Imperial Palace on Centrum stood as a final monument to a dying empire. Colonel Song Tawu led his assault team through its poisoned gardens, where Mirai's bioweapons had turned the exotic plants into twisted, deadly forms. Supreme Commander Hanul is barricaded in the throne room, his tactical officer reported. They moved through halls lined with priceless art, past the bodies of Imperial guards who had chosen death over surrender. In the throne room, Hanul watched the humans approach on security feeds. His once pristine uniform hung loose on his frame. The last month had aged him decades as he watched his empire crumble. They're here for revenge, he told his remaining advisors. Because of one child. One single human child. He dismissed his guards, knowing they couldn't stop what was coming. Tai Wu blasted the throne room doors open. His troops swept in, weapons ready, but found only Hanul sitting on his throne. The Supreme Commander looked small now, nothing like the mighty leader who had ordered the attack on Proxima. I have a daughter, Hanul said as Tai Wu approached. She's about the age yours was. He pulled out a hologram projector, showing a young Imperial girl playing in these same gardens, now dead and twisted. Had, Tai Wu corrected. She died when your bioweapons took Centrum, just like Jaya died when you attacked our colony. His voice remained steady, but his hands shook on his weapon. I understand now, Hanul said. Why you fought like this. Why nothing could stop you. We thought we were teaching primitives a lesson. Instead, we learned one ourselves. Tai Wu reached into his pocket and withdrew Jaya's last drawing. The paper had survived everything, protected in plasteel. He showed it to Hanul, a child's vision of peace between worlds. She drew this the day before your ships came, Tai Wu said. She wanted to meet aliens, to make friends, to grow things on new worlds. His voice finally broke. She was 8 years old. Hanul stood from his throne and walked down the steps. His movements were steady as he knelt before Tai Wu. I cannot bring her back. I cannot undo what we did. But I can give you what you came for. It's not about revenge anymore, Tai Wu said. It's about making sure this never happens again, that no one ever mistakes humanity's kindness for weakness. Then let my last act mean something, Hanul replied. He looked up at the human who had helped destroy his empire. I'm sorry, Jia-song. We were wrong. We were so terribly wrong. Tai Wu raised his weapon. In the gardens outside, the last of Mirai's bioweapons consumed the Imperial world. A dying empire and a grieving father faced each other in its final moments. She would have forgiven you, Ta Wu said softly. She was better than all of us. His finger tightened on the trigger. But she's not here to forgive anymore. The shot echoed through the empty palace. Haenul's body fell beside his throne, his last words an apology to a child he had never met. Outside, Centrum's sun rose on a dead world, its light filtered through toxic clouds. As Ta Wu led his team out, he looked one last time at Jaya's drawing. In the end, the Empire had learned its lesson. Humanity's children were sacred. Their protection was absolute, and the cost of harming them was beyond measure. The palace would stand as a monument, preserved by Mirei's weapons that killed everything but left structures intact, a warning to any who might follow the Empire's path, a reminder that humanity's peaceful face masked a terrible capacity for retribution. Mission complete, Ta Wu reported. The Empire is finished. He tucked Jaya's drawing away and headed home. The war was over. The galaxy would remember why. The Jaya Song Memorial rose into Seoul's skyline, a monument of glass and light reaching toward the stars. At its heart, a hologram showed a young girl tending tomato plants, her laughter frozen in time. Below, the words "Never Again" glowed in every known language of the galaxy. 5 years after the Empire's fall, Colonel Song Ta Wu and Dr. Song Mirei stood before the memorial. Their hair had grayed, but their purpose remained strong. Around them, representatives from 100 alien worlds gathered for the opening of the Jaya Foundation. Today, we ensure no child, human or alien, ever suffers as our daughter did, Mirei announced to the assembled crowd. The Foundation's mission was simple: protect the children of all species, using Earth's now unmatched military power as their shield. Earth had emerged from the war transformed. The facade of a primitive civilization was gone forever. Quantum-fold ships patrolled known space, their dark matter weapons a constant reminder of humanity's strength. Other alien civilizations had watched the Empire burn. They saw how humans had destroyed the greatest power in the galaxy to avenge one child. Now they sent their diplomats to Earth not with demands, but with gifts and pledges of friendship. The Jaya Foundation quickly became more than a memorial. Its ships, marked with Jaya's Rainbow Bridge, responded to any threat against children anywhere in the galaxy. Former Imperial worlds, now recovering under human protection, were the first to request Foundation outposts. Mirei converted her bioweapons research into healing. The same techniques that had destroyed Imperial worlds now helped restore them. Under her guidance, the Foundation developed new medicines and treatments for children of all species. Ta Wu led the Foundation's protection force. His ships carried no weapons. They didn't need to. The mere sight of human vessels was enough to deter violence. The species that burned an empire had made its position clear. On the restored Proxima colony, a new biodome rose where Jaya had died. Inside, children from 100 worlds tended gardens together. The tomatoes she had loved so much now grew in soil enriched by the ashes of empire. She would have loved this, Ta Wu said, watching alien children play in the Seoul Memorial's gardens. All these different species, learning to grow things together. The Foundation's influence spread as Earth rebuilt the galaxy. Trade routes reopened. Damaged worlds were restored. But everyone remembered why the Empire had fallen. One child's death had unleashed humanity's full fury. New civilizations discovered in unexplored space received a simple message: welcome to the galaxy. Visit the Jaya Memorial. Understand why we protect the young. None ever needed a second warning. On what would have been Jaya's 13th birthday, Mirei planted a special garden in the memorial. It contained plants from every known world, growing together in impossible harmony, a living tribute to the peace her daughter had dreamed of. The Empire's fall taught the galaxy a lesson it would never forget. Humans were not defined by their technology or their weapons, but by their love for their children. To threaten that love was to invite extinction. As decades passed, the Jaya Foundation became the galaxy's conscience, its symbol, A child's drawing of a rainbow bridge between worlds represented hope and protection for countless species. The empire was gone, its worlds transformed, its people scattered. But in its ashes, something better grew. A galaxy where children could dream without fear, protected by the species that had proven it would burn the stars themselves to keep them safe. In loving memory of Jaya Song, who dreamed of growing tomatoes among the stars.